Welcome everyone. You're watching Code Files, and this video tutorial series is meant for absolute beginners who want to start learning C# and the .NET framework utilizing Visual Studio. If you've always wanted to make your own applications within Windows environments, then this is the course for you. You don't need any prerequisites. I will be covering the basics and we'll be building some cool stuff. In the future, I will be uploading intermediate and advanced courses for individuals who do have coding backgrounds and are familiar with programming concepts. So the very first thing you need to do is download Visual Studio, and the link is in the description. But if you head on over to visualstudio.microsoft.com, you can go ahead and download the Community 2022 version. They do have what's called the professional and the enterprise versions, but those require a key that you can purchase, and a lot of the features that those two use are not required, and nothing will stop you from building full-fledged applications on the community version. So if you click on Community 2022, you're taken to another page. It's a thank you page. Thank you for downloading Visual Studio 2022. And if it doesn't start your download automatically, you can see down on the lower left hand corner of my screen, I see a setup file that's an executable. But if that does not happen, you can always go ahead and click here to retry a link. So let's go ahead and click on the setup file, and that'll go ahead and execute on this machine. Once you run through the setup file, what you want to do is click on ASP.NET and web development, this little checkbox here, and you want to go ahead and also click on .NET desktop development. Make sure those two are checked off, and you can go ahead and install Visual Studio 2022. Once the VS 2022 is installed, you can go ahead and launch it. And it's going to ask us a couple questions. What type of development setting do we want? We're going to go ahead and leave that as general. And I like the Thark theme, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. And let's go ahead and click on Start Visual Studio. And it says we're preparing for first use. This may take a few minutes. Once it's done doing its thing, this is the main screen. So we're going to start a new project, and we're going to click on Create a New Project. Now, there are a variety of templates that we can get started with within Visual Studio, depending on what type of program we're going to go ahead and program. So in this case, we're going to start off with a console application, and as we learn new concepts within C#, we're going to expand to other templates and other forms of applications that we can write. So in this moment, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you select on C# for the language. You're going to go ahead and select Windows for the platform, and the type of project, it's going to be a console application. Now, there are two console application templates, and it's very important to make sure that you click on the one that reads console app and then in parentheses .NET framework. And that's a project for creating a command line application. And that's how we're going to start learning how to program in C# using we're going to be using a command line, but ultimately that's what our program will be. So click on that template, and we're going to click on next. And now we're going to name our project. In this case, I'm just going to name it Hello World. You can follow along and name it what you would like. And the location is going to be on my desktop. You can click on the three dot icon, and you can select where you want to save your solution. The solution is where all the files for the program and everything that you write are going to be stored in that specific folder. The solution name will be the same as the project name. I never ever change it. And we're going to go ahead and click on Create. Once we click on Create, we can see that on my desktop, there is a solution for Hello World here on the left-hand side, and the main CS file is loaded. Now, what does this do? Let's go ahead and actually launch our program. In this case, it's the console application that's going to be launching. So there's a button up at the top that reads Start. If you click on that, it'll actually execute the program. And, well, nothing happened. Why? Well, what's happening here is it's actually executing the program, but it's reading this this code that's on here for the template, and it reads right through this. It ends and it says, hey, I got nothing else to do. I've executed every line of code, and I'm going to go ahead and terminate the console application. So let's do something so we can get some text on the screen for that command line program, and maybe even some user input. So let's get started. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and type some type of code that'll output text to the command line. Now, this might seem a little foreign to you right now, but just follow along as I type with me, and we're going to go ahead and write hello world. So in C#, the first thing you want to learn is, well, it's not the first thing you want to learn, but something to note down is comments are done with 2 forward slashes. So we're going to say output to the console application. And so this is a comment, and just go ahead and type console dot write line. And we're going to type what we want the console application to output to the end user. In this case, we're going to say hello world. Okay. And so this line of code, it's saying, hey, in the console, go ahead and write the line hello world. Now notice that hello world is actually wrapped with double quotation marks. And so this is what's known as a string. Strings are always going to be wrapped with double quotes. Okay. So if I wanted to create a variable that had a string, that would be my name. Then that would be wrapped with double quotes. So as you can tell, John would be with double quotes. If I take those double quotes off, then we have an issue. You can see the red squiggly lines at the bottom, and we can see the error that Visual Studio Code is giving us. So important to know is strings are always wrapped in double quotes. All right, let's go ahead and launch our application one more time, and hopefully we see hello world, and we actually don't. If you caught it, we saw the application execute. There was a black square, which was the application, and it immediately shut down. Well, why is that? Well, because it's still running through this code. It's executing the output, and it says I'm done. I'm going to terminate the application. So let's do something so that the application does not terminate after reading our code or executing our code. It doesn't actually read it, just executes it. So I'm going to say this is user input as a comment, and we're going to write console dot read line. In this case, we're not going to write a line, we're going to read a line. And this, what this is going to do is this is going to say, hey, I want to go ahead and read a line, which means I want to wait for user input in order to execute the next line of code. So let's go ahead and write I'm done at the very end. Okay. We'll leave a comment, end of program. And let's go ahead and run our program, and it executes, and you can see that it says hello world. Now, it didn't terminate because it's waiting for user input. This is coming from line 17. Now, all you got to do is, in order for that line to go away, is press enter. It executes I'm done, and it terminates the program. Once again, we didn't see the actual text or the output for I'm done because there's nothing to wait on. It'll just terminate it on line 21. So if we actually copy and paste this line after I'm done, and my Visual Studio is kind of acting up, wait for that there we go. And let's say I'm done, press any key to quit. Let's launch it again. We see it says hello world. We press enter. I am done. Press any key to quit. And that's it. We can actually get rid of this line here for user input. This make a little bit more sense. And it'll say, hello world, I'm done. Press any key to quit. If you press any key on the keyboard, actually it's not any key, it's enter. Because enter is the actual line. So you can type something, You press enter. That is you're pretty much indicating that is the end of the line, and the program ends. It's executed, and that's it. So I just want to say congratulations. You have written your first C# console application. And if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe.